husband would never. My husband would not do that. Oh, our husbands are different. They're not like yours. And when I hear that, I'm just thinking, well, when did you guys stop being a team? Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be focusing on giving 2 pointers on getting out of the rut when you experience that in your marriage. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go ahead and dive in on the first point here. I have my notes right here. So the first point is rebuild connection through intentional time together. So whatever that means to you guys, we're all different. Personally, for me and my husband, when we arrive in an area where we're in a rut, we start taking walks. As a family, we start taking walks and having long conversations. We do have our children in those walks, so we keep it, children friendly, and we have those conversations with each other on those long walks for a mile or two. Another thing we like to do is take some time and just head out on a date, just me and him, so we can talk, more private. We talk when we have our children sleeping. We try to be intentional where we can, so there's many ways that you can get out of the rut by being intentional and giving that time to your spouse. So there's times for us as special needs parents that we're going to find ourselves in a rut for quite a season. It could be a couple days, it could be a couple weeks, and sadly it could be a couple months or even years. And so the sooner you get intentional in your relationship to reconnect and to give each other time, the better. Right here I have on my notes, create your couple time. It could be anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And then use that time to talk, to laugh, to share your wins. How was your day? What was a win for you? Keep it lighthearted, and show your spouse that, hey, I love you, I miss you, I want to reconnect, I want to have these moments. And of course, there's also the reconnecting with serious topics and serious issues that you need to, speak on and not bottle up. If you do bottle up, that's going to build resentment. So you have to be very careful with that. So if you need to use this time, maybe not all the time, because you're not always going to be in a bad state of mind, but if you need to use this time to have a reset and talk things, some issues over, use this time for that. And so being intentional with your time with your spouse is going to rebuild that connection again. And sometimes you enter like a roommate stage, and I've heard of that happening, and I've seen it happen to others, and it's just kind of like you're on your own type of thing. Even though you're married, that person still feels on their own. So you don't want to get to that point. Communication will always be key. I feel like that's something the enemy loves to kind of like shut our mouth and just stay quiet, keep it to yourselves, bottle it up, build resentment, anger, frustration, and then just maybe lose it one day, So it's like, don't let it get to that. Reconnect, make it a habit to reconnect with one another, and use that time very wisely as best as you can. And it could be while your kids nap, it could be you guys stepping, outside in your backyard for a little bit, waking up early, something that me and my husband really enjoy, and we find that we connect, and we love coffee. So we have our coffee station. We have breakfast and coffee together before the kids get up, so we get that time to ourselves. And then I'll get to feeding the kids after when they do wake up. And that's a system that we put in place that actually works for us. Like we get to have our time every single morning almost, unless my husband's waking up super early for like a certain side, job that he's taking or anything like that. So find ways that you and your spouse can reconnect and be super intentional. Set your phone aside, put it far away in a counter. You guys will see that it does really do something, So second point I want to encourage you and your spouse to work on is to establish systems for shared load and self-care. So I'll start establishing systems for shared load. For me, I do homeschooling, but there's chores, parenting, schoolwork, and then rhythms that have to be built and changed as your kids get older and get out of, you know, a certain routine, or now this worked and now it doesn't work. So with that being said, I within my circle, sometimes I get a little bit of a pushback. Oh, you guys are different. Oh, my husband would never. Oh, you know, you're blessed with your husband, or stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute. In a marriage, if something's not working, you have to speak on that. You have to say, hey, you know, so I need help in this area. I need a little bit. So for me, there's been seasons where when we bring a baby home, I need help in almost all the areas. I'm healing, I'm in pain. We have three beautiful young boys. And so when I need help with laundry, my husband shows up. When I say, hey, like, can you cook a meal because I'm not able to right now, he shows up. And then now, I mean, we don't have a newborn or anything like that, but there's days where I take a mental toll because of being a stay-at-home and having Andrew, you know, having a hard time, or even our other children are having a hard time. They're humans. We all get, you know, those feelings, and we're not going to live a perfect life of just having good times. So when those moments happen, my husband comes through to help me with the dishes, and sometimes it's not like an automatic. Sometimes I have to ask. I have to let him know, hey, can you help? Now, am I going to do that when he has a hard day as well? No. If the house has to be messy for that day, it's going to be messy for that day. But tomorrow I can try. It's a new day, or my husband and I can both do it and build routines and rhythms that are going to work for us. So getting out of the rut is kind of it could mean a whole lot of things to, you know, every specific marriage. You have to kind of find your guys's way of getting out of it. But being intentional with your spouse, and giving each other that self-care, and then helping each other with the load. You know, there's a lot of people that say, oh, the man should be the provider and the woman should be the homemaker. But I see a lot of people, the mother is a homemaker, yes, and is a stay-at-home, but she's also providing financially. And then I see the husband just be a provider and then fully clock out when he's home. How is that not gonna create any like resentment, any ill feelings for your spouse? And if you're not communicating that, do it, communicate, because they need to know. And with us special needs parents, the better and more frequent we communicate, like, we're not gonna fall on these in these ruts. So what I would say is, take your spouse and just have that mindset that, hey, we're on the same team. We're not enemies. We're not competing. We're not keeping score, which, you know, a lot of people tend to do. That's actually very harmful. Don't keep score. And so be in it together, and just please remember, it comes back to being intentional with anything, like with anything. That when I have those conversations with other people, and they express those feelings to me that, oh, you know, my husband would never, type of thing, it gets me to question, how intentional are you guys with your marriage? How intentional are you both on hearing each other out, on making this time, on being I can never get this word, as you guys know, being vulnerable with one another, humbling yourself, letting go of pride, resentment, anger, like all of that builds. And then it does get to that point where your spouse is going to be checked out or not wanting to help you out. And that's where the enemy wants you to be. So if you feel like you're in that stage or in that season with your spouse, man, drop everything and get to work in your marriage. Get to communicating, even if it's going to take hours to communicate your heart, your feelings, your worries, your concerns, because it's better to focus on it and have a solid conversation than always have it come up and just have those feelings bottle up. It's not healthy for you, your spouse, or the children. They should not be seeing, that treatment. It's not good. But the second point, so the second point has two parts. The second part I wanted to mention, to also keep in mind, to get out of a rut, sometimes we just need self-care time. Sometimes it's just that. Go let your spouse have some self-care time. To me personally, it's not doing my nails, it's not going to do my hair or facial, my eyebrows. For me, those are just something to like check out of my to-do list. When I'm sitting at a waiting room, even if I have an appointment and I'm just sitting there waiting 15, 20, 30 minutes, and I'm just like, this is not doing anything for me. I'm just like a little frustrated that I'm wasting time. I could have been cleaning, I could have been spending time with my husband or kids. So another thing to think about is self-care time is what brings you joy, you peace, whatever makes you feel, fills your cup. Let's put it that way. So for me, what fills my cup is going out on like a brunch with one of my friends, going out for a dinner with one of my friends, going out hiking with a friend. I don't like to do anything by myself. And so my self-care time, when I do have that, I have to have someone with me. Like that's very interesting now that I'm saying it out loud, but that's just who I am. Okay. So I love hiking. I love going out and grabbing a bite. I'm a foodie. So like grabbing some lunch or dinner. Sleeping in is a big one, because it's like, okay, like you have broken sleep sometimes in certain seasons. So sleeping in is another one. I like to go, let's see, what else do I like to do? I like to play sports. So if I'm feeling a certain hobby, I like to use that as my self-care time. And yeah, so whatever you find joy in and fills your cup, go and do that. And then give your spouse the same amount of time. Don't just fill up your cup and then not allow your spouse to also fill theirs. So this one, I would say it does go hand in hand as far as not being selfish with that time, because that could also lead to resentment when one spouse is just out and about doing everything they love, everything they want, and then the other spouse is stuck with the kids. That's no good, and that's very selfish and very messed up. When you go into marriage, you go in to serve. You have to have a serving heart. So for the self-care, it goes both ways. And I'll go ahead and end it with that. I hope these 2 tips really help you guys and encourages both of you, if you guys are both watching, to go out there and then just start implementing these tips and see where it goes, and that it adds good fruit to you guys and your marriage and then your children, and just keep that spark alive. Just get out of that rut. And it's not easy. I will say sometimes it takes a couple weeks or a month or 2 to implement this and then get out of the rut slowly. But as long as you're taking a step forward to do that and not backwards, you're good. You're going to be fine. You and your spouse are going to be doing better, each and every day that goes by. And if you have a little setback, it's okay. Talk about it, communicate, and move forward. Don't get stuck in the feelings. Don't get stuck in the selfishness. Move forward, do better, improve, and then work that muscle, and then it's gonna come easier. Next time you guys fall into a rut, you're gonna pick it up maybe sooner and say, hey, are we being intentional with our time? And are we having our self-care? Or do we need to change some routines around our house that are no longer serving us? So have that in the back of your mind, and whenever you feel this way, please use these pointers. It really did help me and my husband. And like I said, especially with special needs parents, we might get into ruts a little bit more than parents that don't have special needs children. That's just my thought. I'm not 100% sure if it's true, but just keep that in mind, that we have to be a little bit more intentional, those 10 steps ahead of almost everything. But anyway, I'll go ahead and end it there. I hope you guys enjoyed, took some good notes. And if you also have any pointers for us on how you guys get out of a rut, comment down below. I would love to hear and see what I can take for me and my spouse too. I can learn from you guys as well. But I hope you guys have a great day. Please like, comment, and share, as that will help this channel grow. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.